For me to welcome this gentleman here. He's joining us. He's a Georgian. He works with percussion and things at Georgia State University. This is Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, tell us, your caption today is?
I'll be doing visual today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's great, and you've had some pretty amazing experiences as a member of various DCI groups. Tell us about that.
I was lucky enough that I started marching in Glassman Drum and Bugle Corps when they're still around, and then when I aged out, I went on to teach Bluecoats, Carolina Crown for a couple of years, Vanguard for 3 years, and then I became a caption head at Spirit of Atlanta. And I worked at Crossman as an assistant caption head, and I also did senior drum corps with Atlanta CV here in Georgia.
Yeah, and I can imagine that at this point, with the information that you bring to the job at Georgia State University, they're delighted to have you there. But you're also a high school band director, aren't you? Or a high school percussionist?
I mainly do the visual.
Visual?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
I do that at Mill Creek. That's usually been my thing, is the visual
Yeah.
department. So right now I've been there for 3 years at Mill Creek, but before that was predominantly Cobb County, where I grew up.
Sure.
Teaching there at Kennesaw Mountain, Kell High School, McEacher, and Walton. Yeah.
Well, Carlos, tell us about, in that caption now today, as you look at these bands that are here. This is an early time of year right now. Right. We're still in September, in the early 20s.
Absolutely.
And we've got 4 or 5 weeks to go before this season's over.
Yeah.
For many of them, they'll even go on further than that. What is it that you're looking for? What is it you evaluate, and then how do you approach it with these students?
I really like to see the fundamentals be in place with the technique and good instruction being given by them. You know, it's one of those things that at this point in the season, everyone's trying to finish the show and get the drill on, and with that happening, they tend to sometimes forget about the fundamentals and the basics and put that on the back burner just to get the show out there. So I like to see that still foundation is solid, because that will help lead everything else and help get you to execution that you want at the end of the season.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then are you just looking at visual ensemble as well, or execution? Is that where's your caption today?
I believe today will be mostly execution.
Okay.
I think another one of the judges will be looking more ensemble. They might have me on the field, so might be getting in there in the face and seeing what's going on with the kids, and the performers.
So you'll be down there on the field?
I believe so. I think they're still working out to see either be up top or be down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way. Yeah. So
I recall having that assignment several times in my past,
Yeah.
and getting down there, and when you don't know the drill,
right.
It's easy to get caught.
Sure. Yeah, and it's happened a couple times.
You bet.
But
you bet.
Usually most performers are pretty good and let you know, hey, this is coming, or get out
Well,
of the way.
and the nice thing about that is that from up here at the press box, looking down on the field, that you can make certain evaluation statements about the general quality of their execution.
Sure.
Okay, but from down on the field, it's nothing that's general. It's very specific.
Yes.
You can see exactly what's going on. And so how do you approach that in terms of the helpful qualities that you do for high school students?
Well, every band's different. Every band's going to be taught differently. So I like to tell them things that I've seen in my past that will work well, and give them pointers and saying, okay, this is where you're at. This is where I see an inconsistency or consistencies, and you need to push forward with that.
Sure.
From a visual standpoint. So.
And with all of the bands that are here, we've got bands that are going to be marching different styles.
Right.
So you have to evaluate what that is.
Yeah.
We've got 4 or 5 bands that are here that are historically black college university styles, and that's totally different from what we'll see with Cambridge. Okay, when they step off in just a few minutes. I mean, it's a remarkable kind of variety of what we see, but it all gets put into that execution that you're talking about. So how do you measure those different styles and making that happen?
I mean, it's going to be fun, because it is going to be a wide variety, but I think at the end, I'll be able to see what is it they're trying to accomplish, and is every member doing and achieving at the same level. and go from there. So it'll be fun to see today.
Yeah, I think that the things that I've seen over the years where you have students that are executing the visual program, it's remarkable when you find that group that is really doing a wonderful job of execution, and that it stands out so much.
Right.
And it doesn't take much before it doesn't stand out.
Yeah.
You know, even when we have an opener, a first production number, we find that we're getting into the closer, and perhaps the execution isn't what it
Sure.
would be expected to be
progress,
later.
yeah.
Yeah, that work in progress.
Yeah.
Good, very good. So I mean those are kinds of things that really temper your decisions, right?
Yes, I mean, because we know we still got a long way to go. So today, I think, is mostly about seeing where they're at for today and giving them input for the remainder of their season, so they can, excel and keep achieving where they want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you do a lot of visual program. You're doing that with Mill Creek. Are you
Yes.
doing it with other schools as well?
No, I mean, I got a couple kids now, so I'll consult every now and then with things, but for the most part, I'm full-time Mill Creek and full-time Georgia State. And
Wow.
that takes up most of my week.
Yeah.
So that's that, yeah.
But you're still writing drill.
Yes, and I'll write drill and that, but as far as like going out to a band and
Yeah.
consulting and that, just those two bands mainly, predominantly.
That was probably one of the most remarkable things that took place in our field, where people who could write drill really found that there was a really very lucrative means
Yeah.
of getting more drill
Sure.
to do that and to make a few extra dollars and
Yep.
and to do that. It's always been something that I've respected greatly. I had the opportunity to do a number of years of doing drill for other high school groups across the country. But boy, I'll tell you what, it is a creative process that if you're not at it all the time, that it can really get really stymied, and it becomes more difficult.
Yeah, you need to stay current. You need to go around and see other groups to see what's going on with the activity, because it's constantly changing.
Absolutely.
And it has in the last 5 years, 10 years, if you look back. So it's not the same. It's always evolving. So it's good to stay current with that stuff.
Yeah. Now, where did you go to school?
I grew up here in Marietta, and I went to Pope High School.
Okay.
I was lucky enough that my band director, you might have known him, David Starnes.
Sure.
He was my middle school band director, and then my high school band director.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
then when I graduated, he opened up Kennesaw Mountain,
Right.
and I would start working for them there.
Okay.
So I had him for 14 straight years.
That's great.
And then it
So
went
he's
on
like
from there.
family.
Yeah, he's a great mentor. Definitely learned a lot from him, and
Yeah.
was lucky enough to be with a lot of the things he did there. So.
Yeah. And you were a percussionist all along?
I did that a little bit. I've mainly been a trumpet player.
Really?
But yeah, I did some percussion, but mainly my main instrument was trumpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so did you major in trumpet? Did you go to college and major in trumpet?
No, I actually majored in finance, and I have a real-time job, but I still like to do the band on the side and give back and do all that.
Yeah. So what do you do in the day job?
I work at Travelers Insurance on middle market underwriter
very
there
good.
in Alpharetta, so not too far from here.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, but it's 3 days work from home, so that gives me opportunity to still go out and do the band stuff.
Okay. So how long with David?
Starnes?
Yeah.
All
14
together?
years?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that everyone understands, okay, all the parents that are out there, the grandparents that are out there, and the students that are listening to this right now. Here is a case in point where being in part of the band, you don't have to look at being a band director. You don't have to look at doing these kinds of things. But Mr. Gonzalez here is one who's involved in business. He's engaged in that and deeply engaged in working with insurance and making that all happen. But his roots have been found in being a part of the band, that he found meaning there, he found discipline there, he found music there, and he found an awful lot of good things.
Absolutely. Yeah. I still use a lot of the things I learned from my years in marching and drum corps today, so in the business side of it things. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you so
okay.
much.
Appreciate it
Yeah.
very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a webcast that comes directly from Fulton County, Georgia, here on this day. And the festival will be starting soon. We're going to be back in just a moment. My name is Joe Herman with some more information right after this message.